trainings into this tournament in comparison to the tournaments prior to the Asia Champions League, where they are mostly in the middle to the lower half of leaderboards. This time, though, it's a different take. It's 2024. They're not going to enter 2025 with not proceeding to the playoffs. But with that being said, though, here we have it. Starting game number 1, the first draft of this match. Full Sense versus EVOS Onyx.
Yeah, Full Sense versus EVOS Onyx. Game number 1. We have the bans coming through already. You have the Blissey and the Dodrio removed. I think Dodrio is one of the priorities and one of the likes of EVOS. And then you have the Psyduck and Zacian rather removed as well.
First pick, that is going to be the Mimikyu. It's going to be answered back here by the Rhydon. And Jinkies, well, going to have a priority pick into that of the Urshifu. Obviously, really strong Pokemon. You cannot not prioritize the pick into the Urshifu because, well, you don't want to give it back to the you don't want to give it to the other team.
Yeah, for sure. Now all the Gauss going to be hovered by Full Sense. They'll want that extra utility, especially on that Unite move later down the road, but they're still lacking on that attacker. So expectedly, the likes of Mewtwo Y can be that option here by Full Sense. Still could also be that Leafeon. If ever they want to go for that route, will still be open, considering they already have that Umbreon, the double EV, would put them in a good state at the early game. However, EVOS answers with a Garchomp and a Snorlax.
This kind of composition from EVOS Onyx is quite familiar. It's quite reminiscent of the earlier match, Onyx, right? It's quite reminiscent of Onyx composition against that of MSJ, yeah.
Yeah, but they're not going in for the defender, but it's Porter, which I think if they really want to go for like a bearer type of composition, they're gonna go for like a double defender, double all-around, single attacker. But nevertheless, I think this is really good still for EVOS, going for a balanced type of composition for Full Sense. It's really been a while since we've last seen Buzzwole coming through into the picks, and even Greninja as one of the under-prioritized Pokemon in terms of the compositions.
Honestly, Buzzwole, I can still understand. Greninja now in this meta, I'm not entirely sure. Given the fact that there's definitely a lot more viable Pokemon than a Greninja, but if they can make it work, then why not? Especially if this is Full Sense that we're talking about, they can definitely make this work. It's going to be the backlane attacker, where the front liner is going to be obviously the Bruiser, that is a Buzzwole, alongside with that of the Mimikyu. Now, the thing is, Greninja really cannot be hit here. Not by the Garchomp, not by the Miraidon, or not by the Urshifu, not anyone into the side of Onyx. They really need to be careful here, mainly because of the fact that, Greninja is alongside, just one more Pokemon, but it's Greninja and one more Pokemon that has the lowest HP in the game at level 15. So, at only, I believe, 5250 total HP before items. So really, sure, you might be able to utilize this, might be able to put up some damage, but definitely you cannot let it get attacked here by Garchomp, Miraidon, or Urshifu, because definitely perhaps just one hit is all it would take for them to take down this Greninja.
Yeah, 100%. And I was thinking, this reason why I was, I mentioned, right? Like, there's a possibility of the Mewtwo Y, there's a possibility of the Leafeon coming through for Full Sense. But it's at the Greninja, and I think that still comes down into like the comfort, and I guess like Full Sense wants to be able to utilize Greninja much more. In terms of mobility, Greninja is still superior amongst like a Pokemon in terms of the Pokemon pool in the current selection that we have, Pokemon Unite. So I think that is what Full Sense wants to capitalize, especially considering that they have the likes of Mimikyu as well. That really is wonderful in mobility.
Perhaps. And again, as I mentioned, at the very least, right, like they have some Pokemon that could be the frontliner, where, Greninja is being used as their backliner. Definitely not going to go in for the Surf. I don't think they're going to go in for the Surf. But instead, going to be going in for Water Shuriken and Double Team, so that they can push out some damage while being able to, as I mentioned, be mobile enough to get away from team fights, and while at the same time, putting out some damage.
Yeah, for sure. Now EVOS Onyx, you have just their Shifu and Garchomp combo alongside with the Snorlax has been so really, so good, rather.
Hmm.
But EVOS now finding on that fight, just going into a brush check. I've met someone, but just the mobility of Garchomp, just going in and out of fights very, very quickly.
And again, once you get this level 9, then that is really when it's going to wreak havoc. But then again, we have to remember that Buzzwole here could serve as a substitute from for a Mamoswine, really. Especially with its submission. RKO out of nowhere. Well, it's not Machamp, but still, with Smack and Superpower rather, not submission, super powered, that can definitely put up this repossession opponents into the side of Evil's Onyx. But even if they're gonna go in for leech life at the very least, right, like they can still stun them and get in some HPs along with it.
Yeah. So we'll see if ever.
Oh, the
They could reach-
QR code is up as well. So for
Yeah.
the code, QR code, come on, go 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 go. You want some rewards? Yeah, just scan this.
Yeah, a lot of giveaways. We are giving away, I believe, 5 keychains. You have two or three puzzles, and 2 or 3 merch. So
Yeah.
a lot of stuff in store for the viewers watching at home at this point. But both these teams, Full Sense and EVOS Onyx, really playing it closely amongst each other in terms of point accumulation, and in terms of levels, it is EVOS Onyx who is a little bit of a cut above Full Sense. So I think Full Sense has to catch up a little bit, but the Reggie bottom and the Reggie top is now up already, and I reckon Full Sense has the priority over the Reggie bottom.
Right, and here we have it. Full Stance really trying to be, careful here, not to be taken out. Especially Sunsage here with better Greninja. But now they're gonna be able to secure that Reggie bottom for themselves as well. And look at that though. That is a bit of a handshake as EVOS Onyx is able to secure that Reggie like off top. Sunsage is gonna be able to short its bottom tier first goal here. Down bottom though. Onyx though still not stopping as they push down the Eldegoss into that of the back lane of the sector's score goal as they score in more for themselves.
Yeah, EVOS Onyx is able to take down the tier 1 gold zone already and just put a little bit of that pressure. Considering that Full Sense went in for the Reggie bottom, it's EVOS Onyx that just capitalized onto that numbers advantage that they have, and no one guarding the tier 2 gold zone on top side. And EVOS Onyx now was able to stack up a lot of point lead up against Full Sense. So far right now, it's all about just playing time here. It's Full Sense now reaching that level 9 that you talked about a while ago, and EVOS Onyx doing the same thing as well for Garchomp, Miraidon, as well as Urshifu. So those damage is going to start to hurt and ramp up for both sides.
Oh yeah, and here we have it. Sunsage trying to get away, and that's what I'm talking about, right? Like, man, even if it's not that strong, it seems to be a very strong move when used against that of Greninja. But with that being said, a play with me is going to be pop up. That is going to be bounded here. Even if you're using your night move, if you're not on bound status, then you're going to get overwhelmed here. You're going to be overridden by a Pokemon with bound, just like slow beam from slow go. But with that being said, there's going to be 2 down to the Full Sense. EVOS Onyx now answering back down and another 40 down bottom.
Yeah, 250 points already for EVOS. Of a dominating start here for the likes of EVOS. You really have to think about like what they could do here, especially considering that in terms of that team fighting down the road, it's still EVOS Onyx, I reckon, that has the better edge, that has the lead in terms of that team fighting capability, just because Greninja doesn't really speak a lot of volume in that 5v5 fight. Its strength comes through individual and isolated surprise attacks.
Right, and here we have it. Another one here. The Reggie Lecky is trying to be taken out here by a Full Sense, but EVOS Onyx not going to have a bit of a space here to try to, steal this one up. And now Full Sense still trying to get a bit of a grasp here as to how they're going to try to answer back against that of Onyx. They're going to be able to take down the Fable as well, into the Water Burst Shuriken as well, into another KO. It's going to be 3 down into the side of Onyx, maybe 4, but limited hours are going to be used just to get away from that of the team fight, not making sure that they are not going to be another casualty to the side of EVOS Onyx. And now, just like that, Full Sense almost there to catch up against that of EVOS Onyx. Only 18 points. Sorry, no.
18?
No, 30,
38.
30. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, see? I can do the math too.
Yeah, 20 plus 18. Woohoo! but yeah, it's Full Sense who's able to at least stack up a bit, because a while ago the difference was a lot bigger. If you're gonna think about it, and EVOS Onyx right now still has to stand for it. Coming down into the Rayquaza fight, both these teams will be on a very close battle, and I believe they will be the ones starting the Rayquaza. Like both of them would want to start it up.
Oh no, yeah, I mean, EVOS Onyx definitely does have the advantage into that of the team fights here. As we can see here, JP is going to be taken out though by that of Greninja. But even if that's the case, the moment that they were able to like take in that of Rayquaza, right? Sorry, that they were able to take out some of the damage from that of the team fight. At the very least, right? Like after using block, EVOS Onyx was able to put in some damage, and I think that's what we're going to be seeing for the Rayquaza later on as well.
Yeah, and now with that, Full Sense taking the win into the bottom side of the map. They take Regice, and EVOS Onyx will just opt to go for the Regieleki on top. However, this isn't really a big factor for EVOS Onyx, considering that they have already taken down the tier 2 gold zone on top side, which means that this will just put out extra pressure when Rayquaza comes up.
Look at that. EVOS Onyx is going to be able to secure that Regieleki this time around. And the Rayquaza is now up. But another team fight here, up top here. It seems as if EVOS Onyx is leading the pack here. There's going to be 2 down into the side of Full Sense. And EVOS Onyx only 1 down on Mega 3. And the Umbra is going to be going down as well. But Mark out S, you're no longer a god because you are now immortal, as you're going to be taken out here by 2v1 here. Kane tries to get away as they try to get their cooldowns out. But Markout S is still not done. They still want to put into damage. But look at that beautiful block here coming from down at the Snorlax as they try to secure the Rayquaza for themselves. And they did. Wicked blow. It's going to be the end of the game here for EVOS Onyx.
Yeah, and this is what we mentioned, right? Coming down into the final fight, coming down into the final team fight, EVOS Onyx definitely has that bigger edge just because they have the capability to do so. They have the Urshifu, they have the Garchomp, they have the Snorlax, alongside with the Miraidon. So in terms of defensive capability, in terms of damage, and in terms of like prolonging their life and their HPs across that fight, they're able to do so just because of their composition.
Right, and like what I really like about EVOS Onyx this time around is that at least they are not. In comparison to the previous 2 matches that we've seen, they are not taking their chances. The moment that they are in the lead, they make sure that they, put more pressure into it. Like, sure, they're already in the lead. They're not going to take their time. We are going to gun it and run for it and make sure that we, like, widen this. This advantage that they have, and that's what they did. The moment they were able to take in the Regieleki at the very last moment, right, they took down Full Sense. And from there on out, answering back, leave it outrage into the Water Burst Shuriken, though, going to be used, and everyone is going to be popped up here. Ladies and gentlemen, and all traders alike, EVOS Onyx is on a different role for today.
And now EVOS Onyx will be able to hold their fort, will be able to hold their tier 2 gold zone, and Full Sense will not be able to go for the points to even out the playing field. And with that said and done, EVOS Onyx will come out on top and gain number.
Oh, definitely. And like Full Sense, EVOS Onyx did have the complete control of the match here. Full Sense wasn't able to do a lot here. While they were able to like answer back against that of EVOS Onyx, it was really EVOS Onyx that had the the objective, had the team fights as well, especially even at the early game, right? Even at the early game, and they just brought it down to the late game as well. And I guess I would say that I wasn't really a fan of what happened on the Rayquaza fight, mainly because of the fact that EVOS Onyx, sure they got in the Regieleki, but what Full Sense did.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, this is very interesting in terms of side selection. I was expecting a full side selection just because it gives them like the high priority pick advantage, but instead they let it through, and Full Sense is going on to the orange selection.
Oh yeah, it's EVOS Onyx still on the left side, where Full Sense still on. Wait, no, sorry, no, it's the other way around now, right? Like EVOS Onyx is now on the left one.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, Full Sense just let go of the purple side selection priority.
Which is really interesting because we're finally going to be able to see the Psyduck, and man, like Psyduck into the hands of EVOS Onyx. Oh wow. I have no words. I'm speechless, and I think this is going to be quite detrimental on the side of Full Sense.
Yeah, for sure. So now in terms of this composition, I love the changes far. Yeah, Idon coming as the attacker for Full Sense. They also have locked in onto the Dorio. So in terms of that damage category, they're already having a sufficient amount of damage in their composition. So they need one more frontliner. They need someone to be able to get those damage through, but not having to budge quite a bit. So it's either an all-rounder or a defender coming down for Full Sense. For EVOS Onyx's side, they went in for the Psyduck, not plural, and Snorlax along with Garchomp and Espeon, but Absol would be the game changer here. A very early game centric Pokemon, which I think could definitely lead EVOS Onyx to a successful win or an unfortunate defeat.
Oh no, yeah, I totally agree with you. Again, really strong in the early game, but it doesn't necessarily translate, right? It doesn't necessarily translate into that of the late game. And now, I guess that's the reason why they have the Espeon. They have the Espeon, the Garchomp, and of course the Psyduck, just to alleviate the power gap of the Absol by the late game. So, but the thing is, that will still allow them to get that early lead that they're looking for against that of Full Sense. And I'll go into the side of Full Sense though. I think they're gonna be changing up their composition now, right? Obviously they did. They're gonna be changing up their gameplay is what I mean. Instead of like forcing in issues as EVOS Onyx is going to be doing, I believe for the rest of the game here. What they're going to be gunning in here for this time for match number 2 is just try to score in as much. We have the scoring comp essentially for Full Sense for this one.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll see how the difference would turn out for Full Sense, because they definitely changed things up. We talked about a while ago how Greninja is not working for Full Sense. So now they brought out the Miraidon, they brought out the likes of Serena as well to be a little bit of that pseudo damage dealer alongside with the Dodrio as well. So this definitely is a lot better as a sight to see for Full Sense. But for EVOS, this will still be a huge threat for Full Sense nevertheless, because they still have that access to the backlines with the Garchomp. They have Snorlax still that can possibly go in for the block, and also the heavy stamp that could start up those fights.
Right. But here we go though. Game number 2, EVOS Onyx versus Full Sense. Ladies and gentlemen, all trainers alike. This is Pokemon Unite with Absol into that of the central area. Again, just to get its level 5 as early as possible, and of course be able to, overwhelm Full Sense as early as possible.
Yeah. So we'll see how the difference are going to be done here for Full Sense and the EVOS. But so far, having the purple side selection for EVOS Onyx gave them a lot of these priorities locked in already. They went in for the likes of even the Espeon as well and the Absol for that early game pressure and for that early game advantage up against Full Sense. So this is what we have to look at, right? The first 3-4 minutes after the game, what will Full Sense do in answer to EVOS Onyx's power in the early matchup?
Here you go though. EVOS Onyx still on to that of still a bit of a lead in terms of points. Still not enough. Again, this is still just the early game. But then we can see here Markard S already on the low with the help of the Absol, and of course the Goodbye is going to be able to put them down as well. Now ALR here. still trying to get away. Psyduck, just trying to gonna be taken out here off cam down bottom, but still, not gonna be enough here. Miraidon sure currently at level 5, but then again, Espion is now going down bottom as well, just to respond and help down that Psyduck.
Yeah, and into the bottom side, I think this would be enough, right? Like EVOS Onyx right now, I think he's just not doing any explosive fights, which is a bit surprising, but Amsel is taking his time to be able to stack up on those XPs and to be able to stack up on those levels right now. Having the Gabite at level 6 already is a good sign. And with Amsel going into level 7 soon enough, they will start up these fights. They will start up the ramp. They will start to ramp up, rather, up against Full Sense and find those attacks and battles forcing away Full Sense attack.
Right, and here you have it. Again, Absol going to be able to take down 1. No, make the 2. That is going to be more good as again. 2 down to the side of Full Sense. EVOS Onyx now in the lead with only 3 more points to destroy the first score goal up top. But with that being said, only Psyduck is up left, down bottom just to defend this one. And again, it's already enough. Psyduck is already enough. Psyduck, you're enough. You don't need to, because you didn't need to do a lot more, but you are enough, Psyduck, just to defend the score goal.
Yeah, and it definitely is. He's able to stand his ground there for Psyduck. For the side of EVOS Onyx, Ants is still on a massive deficit here on a 31 point disadvantage at this point. But now they're answering back. They're fighting back.
Look at that. Midnight Slash is going to be popped up as well, coming in from that of Kane. Going to be able to take down 2 as well. They're trying to make a 3. And just like that, currently still in the lead. Jinkies trying to get away. Are they going to be able to get away? No, not quite yet. Heavy Slam's going to be popped out as well. Going to be able to take down. That is the Serena down. And we'll make that 2. Umbreon is down as well. And EVOS Onyx is now going to be able to take this Reggie seal for themselves. Yes, we have that Garchomp taking down that Reggie Elecki alone up top. So definitely not going to leave any objective for Full Sense. Currently at 140 to 57 is going to be the name of the game here. 23 down as well with the Reggie Elecki. Now with the help of the Snorlax, though, still not going to be enough. Going to be taken out here at Full Sense. Not going to be able to score in, just try to survive a little bit more, but that's going to be 3 down to the side of EVOS Onyx. This might be the time of Full Sense to answer back. A team wipe for them is going to be the reward.
And now Full Sense has complete control now. They're going in for those dunk points, at least on the top path. They want to come back from that huge deficit, but with EVOS Onyx securing so much of a lead with 2 goal zones down on top path, it's going to take some time for Full Sense to be able to make it back. And we mentioned this a while ago. In terms of that early game, with how EVOS Onyx drafted their composition, they will have that advantage.
Right, and here we go though. Full Sense just waiting for that right moment. Again, I know Shaggy, you're casting, right? With like this loud, we're seeing the change right here. Full Sense gonna be taking. But then EVOS Onyx still not the end of the game here. Dragod's here, just waiting for the waiting the tall grass here with Spoon. Waiting for that Reggie bottom. But it's not going to be enough though, as the Reggie like is going to be coming up in just a moment. 80 more seconds as the objectives are rising up once again. 30 more seconds before the Reggie bottom comes up.
Yeah, and I think they all want to go in for the Reggie bottom, at least for Full Sense. They want those buffs to come through. EVOS Onyx, if they want to go for Reggie Elecki, sure, it's going to give that extra pressure, but it's not going to affect it that much. I think it's Full Sense who wants it more for themselves, for that tier 2 goal zone pressure, so we'll see what they could do.
It's gonna be popped up here. Coming in from that side up, and there you have it. They're gonna be able to secure that that Reggie Elecki. They don't really care if Full Sense is gonna be taking out that Reggie bottom, because they are still not done. They're gonna be able to take down 1 more, and just like that, Meteor Storm gonna be able to take down the Psyduck in this instance. 1-for-1 trade, but the advantage is on the side of EVOS Onyx, as they were able to take down not only Reggie Elecki, put them some scores down bottom, and now gunning in for that Reggie bottom as well. 2 alone Tactics Player going to be able to be taken down into the process, and Mark God S though was able to go away, but it's still not going to be enough. There's only 1 Pokemon, 1 player trying to steal away this Red Eyes, and not going to be allowed to do so.
Yeah, and EVOS Onyx still able to really just match it up, and this is very surprising, right? Like Full Sense, we keep on talking about them on how they want to do things and how they're able to adjust on to this position of a disadvantage in the early game. And so far, EVOS Onyx, yes, it may be a coin flip, it may be a disadvantage for them to go into a very centric comp for that early game, but they're able to make it work. Garchamp's already at level 13, everyone's closely reaching that level 12, level 11, and so far the level difference is not big of a matter at hand here, but how much EVOS Onyx has able to stack up in terms of the points that would give them a huge beneficial advantage in Rayquaza fight.
Right, and speaking of the Rayquaza fight, there's only 1 more minute left before that Rayquaza comes up. And with that being said, though, both objectives is still going to be up here for any team to take, really. But Full Sense does have the positional advantage into that of the Reggie Electric. I think they're going to be gunning in to take that one up just to alleviate some of the pressure that they're taking in from that of EVOS Onyx. But with that being said, the Dream is going to be taken out into the side of Full Sense, and now does have access to their Unite. Everyone does have access to their Unite move, and they're going to be ready down into, for the take of the Rayquaza. Now, just giving away this Reggie Electi allows EVOS Onyx to, position themselves and ready themselves up that of the Ray Pit. Really, even if they can score in, it's still not going to be enough for them to go over the score of EVOS Onyx. Not this time around.
Yeah, and now you have 2 seconds left. Full Sense now going through. They have to force out the Rayquaza at this stage, but EVOS Onyx will be batting it up against them. 5v5.
And there you have it. Triple Champions getting popped up as well. And here we go. Midnight Slash once again. Ladies and gentlemen, Ultra like Kane has been putting up the work. Going to be able to secure that Rayquaza, taking down Market as well in the process. And now, wow, Shaggy and Lactus Lau really, really happy for their own fellow man. 2 out of 10 casters predicted this to happen, and now they're happy. EVOS Onyx on the lead against that of Full Sense.
Yeah, it's amazing to watch this, how EVOS Onyx was able to really take a lot of those, was able to really dominate this competition, or well, at least this series thus far, on how they were able to adjust coming in the first few weeks into week number 3, into the group stages at this point in day number 5. And so far, EVOS Onyx with more than double the amount of points of Full Sense, they have secured that amount of advantage to secure that win. And just a while ago, JJ, we were talking about this, how EVOS Onyx has to win this, because if they do, they will now be on the 4th or 3rd position, which is really, really fantastic if you're going to think about the leaderboards moving forward here in the group stage.
No, I think it was EVOS Onyx that is. Oh wait, no. Yeah. I was sorry. I was thinking of Onyx Rise. They're currently in the 3rd place, but again, as you had mentioned, really important for EVOS Onyx to get them, because that is just going to allow them to jump up even further into that leaderboards, and now currently at 800 points. I think we're going to be seeing. Are we going to be seeing 1,000 points here? Oh wow! Wow! The dominance here coming from EVOS Onyx. I believe this is the first. I think this is the first one. First 1,000 points in the tournament, is it?
Yeah, and I think it's the first time that we reach 1,000 points, if I can remember correctly.
Yeah, I mean, for anyone really in this tournament, because it's very, especially after the Rayquaza, update, it was only very rarely that we can get over 1,000 points, and now we have finally seen one as well in the tournament, the first one for Asia Champions League 2025. Quite a dominant fashion here coming from that of EVOS Onyx against that of Full Sense. Unfortunately, I don't think this is going to be the day for Full Sense, but at least for EVOS Onyx, their one and only game gets them 2-0.
Yeah, for sure. Right? And yeah, I think EVOS Onyx was just able to adjust. Even yesterday, where their dominance up against Elevate as well, which amazing to watch with how they went in with a full clean 2-0 sweep. And even I believe last week, this was you